Okay, so this video wasn't even planned, haven't scripted it, haven't anything. Didn't even write down that I was going to do this until I've just finished a batch of recording, and I just had this thought while I was doing one of the other videos, so I just thought I'd talk about it and give you some value. And it's about LinkedIn with degree apprenticeships. So in this space, I see a lot of people talking about LinkedIn, saying it's the most useful thing out there for getting a degree apprenticeship. And I'm going to give you a hot take right now from my personal opinion as a degree apprentice who got a decent amount of offers from companies such as JLR, Rolls-Royce and Bentley. The hot take is you don't need LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a waste of space, right? I'm just going to say it. No one else is saying it. If you look at degree apprenticeship tips, guides, whatever, they're saying get LinkedIn, network, blah, 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 show you're interested, all that. Hot take, personally, I think that's a waste of time. All right, so I'm just going to explain why, and hopefully this will just provide you some value and help you with your decision, maybe if you want to decide whether to use LinkedIn or not. So there's basically two reasons why people say you should use LinkedIn. Number one, for degree apprenticeships, this is specifically what I'm talking about for degree apprenticeships. If you're a 35-year-old professional senior manager, then fine, use LinkedIn, I don't care. But for apprenticeships specifically, right? First reason is networking. And the second reason is, how do I describe it? I don't know, interest, makes you look more interested or something. I'll explain that in a second. So the first one is networking. They say if you get LinkedIn, you can chat to people in the company, get to know the company, network, get to know the early careers people, whatever, all that stuff. No, I don't think that's a good use of your time doing that networking, right? Because it sounds good on paper, yeah, networking, get to know the early careers team, they'll be doing the applications, get to know current apprentices, get to know the company, be able to ask questions about the company. I just don't think that's a valuable use of your time. First of all, in terms of the early careers, I'm going to check this is recording because I don't know if it is. Yeah, it is. So first of all, in terms of early careers team, this is one of the mistakes I made when I was applying for degree apprenticeships. I made a LinkedIn profile, did a few posts, got networking, messaging people, and one of the things I did for one of the companies that I applied for was I basically got into conversation with the early careers lead, and I basically knew the early careers lead very well, and I thought that would help me with my apprenticeship application, because I thought the early careers team are really involved in the apprenticeship process. And that's sort of like a common myth, that I certainly thought that the early careers team just did the whole process, and so if I got to know them, then it would be really helpful when it comes to the assessment centre and the interview and all that. However, here's what happens. The early careers team go through the application, okay? So they go through CVs, cover letters, application questions. When it comes to interviews, that is nothing to do with the early careers team. Their interviews are done by just real professionals working. So they could be random managers, just they're people who do the job, who are going to be who you're going to be in their team. They're just random people who will do the interview. So to be honest, you're not going to be able to find out who's going to do your interview, because it could be anyone from the whole business in any team, really. It's just professional people doing the interview, people who do the job you want to do. Because an early careers professional works in HR, they're not going to know what a DTS apprentice needs to do. They're not going to know what an investment banker needs to do. They're not going to know what an automotive engineer needs to do. So it's the professionals who work in those teams that interview you. So my point is, if you make connections with the early careers team, it's not going to help you in those interviews and assessment centres, because they're nothing to do with it. They're just sort of facilitating it, organising it, and then during the interview they hand it over to the people doing that interview. And then I did say that the early careers do the applications at the very start with the CVs, cover letter and application questions. So maybe you're thinking, oh, well, if I make a connection with one and they know me, maybe that'll help. But these days, a lot of companies are doing blind CVs, cover letters and application questions to reduce bias, that sort of thing. So even if you did have a connection and a network with the early careers team who were going through the applications, they're not going to know it's you, so it doesn't really achieve anything. So that's where I say networking with early careers, for example, and asking them questions, it doesn't really get you anywhere. Okay, fine, so networking with early careers doesn't work because they can't really help you with anything. What about current apprentices? Again, if you want to network with a current apprentice to ask questions to find out, fair enough, but it's not going to get you any competitive advantage really. Having a current apprentice in your network, it doesn't do anything for you. So that's the first reason people say it's for networking. And I just don't think having a network at this stage for a degree apprenticeship application, it helps you. Obviously in the future, 100% a network helps you, and in general just a network does help you, but I'm just saying for the apprenticeship application process, a network does not help you. Early careers professionals aren't going to help you. A current apprentice isn't going to be able to help you, and you're not going to know the person who does your interview, you're not going to be able to find them because it's basically random. It could be anyone in the company. So networking, in my opinion, is a waste of time. The second thing is showing interest. So they say make posts every now and then about what you're doing, about topics in your industry. Maybe if you do work experience, put it on there. If you read an article, put it on there to show how you're reading about it and you can analyze stuff and learning stuff and you're interested. And personally, I just think that's not the most valuable use of your time. I think you could either say you have, I know people are very busy and apprenticeship applications take a lot of time and your time's valuable. So let's just say you had 2 hours a week to focus on apprenticeship stuff. I would say either you do a 2-hour course or you do a 1-hour course and then spend an hour posting it on LinkedIn and seeing if you get any replies or likes or writing it up, etc. I would much rather you get 2 1-hour courses done in that 2 hours, 2 different things you can put on your CV and talk about different things you've learned, than only doing 1 course and then wasting half your time writing it up on LinkedIn and posting it. I just don't think it's a valuable use of your time because you could be doing other things. So there's that reason for it. It's just not a good use of time. And then the other thing is, there's not even really a need to do that, because okay, you can do a course and post it on LinkedIn, and then when they do the application they may or may not click on your LinkedIn profile, then they'll scroll down 5 months and find that you posted this about this course. That doesn't really make sense, does it? They're not going to do that. How about you just do the course and put it on your CV? That just makes more sense, doesn't it? The LinkedIn's not really achieving anything. You can put the online course on there 5 months ago, and if they scroll all the way down, but that's if they've decided to click on it, which they might not even have decided to click on it because they've already got your CV and cover letter. What more is your LinkedIn going to tell you? So you see where I'm going with this? Sure, your LinkedIn could maybe make you seem 1%, 2% more interested, but doing an extra course every single week would make you 100%, 200%, 300% more interested and look more interested. So personally, I would say LinkedIn, that's just me explaining my hot take, why I think LinkedIn's a waste of time. Of course, if you want to do LinkedIn, go ahead. I'm not saying it's going to make it worse. 100%, it will increase your chances, maybe 1%, 5%, whatever the number is. 100%, if you want to do it, then go for it, do it. It will increase your chances. I'll give you that. It's better than not having a LinkedIn. However, the reason I say don't even bother having one is because I know it takes away from doing other things. I know that people's time is valuable. I know that you can only do a certain number of hours a week. So I would say, rather than spending those few hours you have on LinkedIn, which is kind of irrelevant, I would say focus on things that are important, such as getting your DAV signed off, attending a sports team, doing a club, doing an online course, that sort of thing, and then just put it in the CV and they can see it there straight away. And most of the time they are going to read a CV and they'll see it there. LinkedIn, much less chance of them clicking on it and scrolling down for 5 minutes. So there's my hot take. If you want to do LinkedIn, absolutely fine, but just in my personal opinion, for the application process itself, a network doesn't help because it's all blind really. You don't know who it is, they don't know who you are, so the network doesn't really get you anywhere. And second of all, I just don't think it's a valuable use of time because it doesn't really improve you as a person in the eyes of the employer, whereas spending time doing other things such as courses and improving yourself would look better. So there's my hot take. Hope you took something away from this. See you later.